Special Military Operation of Russia. July 4, 2026, 9:12. Putin, Russia has obtained the key to the liberation of the entire DPR. By Alexander Konovich, NTV Information Service correspondent. At the beginning of the General Staff meeting, General Genrads was present. To stay informed about the situation at the front, the President is in contact with the leadership of the General Staff almost daily. But the meeting with military personnel at one of the auxiliary command posts of the Joint Group of Forces only underscores the importance and significance of the latest news from the front. I want to note that the capture of Konstantinovka is only the first, but very important stage. In the destruction of Ukrainian formations that are still holding back Slaviansk, Kramatorsk, Konstantinovka, as you said, at the Kriaproan area, where a deep and layered system of fortifications was created, turning the cities of Slaviansk and Kramatorsk into a unified defense. With the capture of Konstantinovka, I understand that we should no longer speak of the Slaviansk-Kramatorsk agglomeration, but of the Slaviansk-Kramatorsk line. Military experts call the capture of Konstantinovka a major strategic success. It could become a springboard for the final liberation of the entire territory of Donbas. During the meeting, commanders of assault units from the center of Konstantinovka reported via video link to Vladimir Putin about what is currently happening in the city. Fighting is taking place in the Yuzersk-Yusovo apartment block in the area of Victory Square, advancing through urban development with residential and administrative buildings. Currently, the unit personnel continues to clear the city of the remnants of Ukrainian militants. Comrade Supreme Commander-in-Chief, all tasks assigned to you will be fulfilled. Victory will be ours. Thank you, I have no doubt. Thank you very much, Ildar Igor Berdivich. I want to thank you and all your men for the results of your combat work. Take care of yourselves. And Anton, thank you very much. The President expressed gratitude to all those who liberated Konstantinovka. During the meeting, Vladimir Putin was shown drone footage of Russian military forces taking control of various districts of the city. The battle for it had been ongoing since the autumn of last year. From July to September 2025, advancing through forest belts, we consistently managed to encircle and liberate the settlements of Preteno and Stepochki, thereby creating conditions for further advancement toward the city. Then, from October to December 2025, in cooperation with units of the 72nd Motorized Rifle Brigade of the 3rd Army Corps, we entered and cleared the northern and southern Dacha settlements. Subsequently, advancing into the city limits from different directions, in cooperation with units of the 72nd Brigade, military units, the 4th Separate Brigade, the Ukrainian Armed Forces units were consistently destroyed. The Russian armed forces continue to confidently hold the strategic initiative in the zone of the special military operation. The liberation of Konstantinovka has important strategic significance. The city, as we all well know, is not a key transport and major industrial center of Donbas. But the capture of Konstantinovka, in the area of the southern grouping, opens a direct road for further advancement to Kramatorsk and Slaviansk. In another heavily fortified area of Donbas, it is undoubtedly the key to the liberation of the entire territory of the Donetsk Republic. During the meeting, the situation on all directions of the special military operation was discussed. The President announced the planned creation of a security zone in the Kharkiv and Sumy regions. He emphasized that its expansion is a response to Ukrainian strikes on Russian civilian infrastructure. The more attempts the enemy makes to strike our civilian infrastructure, the more we must do everything necessary to protect these facilities and protect civilians. The more attempts the enemy makes of this kind, the larger the buffer zone we will have to create on the territories adjacent to our border. Especially since this, like other territories we are discussing today, is also historically Russian land. Currently, advanced units of Russian troops are only 10 kilometers from the northern outskirts of Sumy. The enemy is retreating under the pressure of our military and is retreating with heavy losses. This situation is observed on all sections of the front. The Kiev regime, in the absence of results on the ground, is trying to convince its Western sponsors that it has seized the initiative and achieved significant advances on the battlefield. For these purposes, they are conducting an information campaign in which they demonstrate the imaginary successes of Ukrainian formations, while the territories liberated by Russian troops are hidden under the neutral formulation of transition to the gray zone. Only in June, our units liberated 29 settlements and 636 square kilometers. The Ukrainian authorities, understandably, are trying to hide the true state of affairs at the front from both their citizens and Western sponsors as best they can. The loud statements from the Kiev leadership about non-existent successes, according to Vladimir Putin, actually work against Kiev itself. To reinforce their legends and lies, the lying opponents may undertake certain actions of a sabotage and terrorist nature. They may undertake sorties, even with small forces, but with great propaganda fanfare, so as to confirm their theses of imaginary achievements. We must be prepared for these possible sorties. And secondly, the bravado statements of the head of the Kiev regime about successes that we know do not exist are, in principle, to our advantage. Since these leaders, they really don't know how to do anything else, they haven't been taught anything else, but with their actions and statements, they, in a sense, disorganize both themselves and their sponsors. I repeat, this is to our advantage. The commanders of the Russian armed forces groupings must act rhythmically, rationally, and consistently. Overcoming, of course, the difficulties natural in these conditions, doing everything necessary and possible to preserve the lives of our soldiers and ensure the unconditional fulfillment of tasks in strict accordance with the plan of the special military operation developed by the General Staff of the Russian Armed Forces. The President also recalled at the meeting with the military the June joint statement of several EU leaders approving, as they said, Ukrainian innovative use of unmanned technologies, meaning precisely strikes on Russian civilian objects. This was, of course, a purely rhetorical question. Does this mean that they endorse strikes on our civilian objects, on civilian infrastructure, on transport with civilians and children, on student dormitories? Does this all mean encouragement of such strikes? In this regard, he noted that the delivery of massive group strikes on the infrastructure of Ukraine's military-industrial complex and the facilities ensuring its functioning should be continued. Since these ideas are circulating, they are being implemented, and we must respond accordingly. I ask for appropriate proposals to be submitted. Vladimir Putin also reminded of the need to continue analyzing the involvement of each instigator in the continuation of the war in Ukraine and assessing the degree of their participation in actual combat operations. All of this, according to the President, may be needed for making responsible decisions in the future. Alexander Konovich, NTV Television Company. This translation was brought to you by Gesner Deslandes, Engineer-in-Chief at GlobalInternet.py. If you found this translation helpful, please consider supporting our work. Your donation helps us continue providing accurate, professional translation services for news, speeches, interviews, and more. Support our translation services. Donate via Prism Transfer, 509 4738 to 5663. Email, delandes78@gmail.com. Website, https://globalinternetctp-abh7v6tnmskxxnplardcgk.streamlit.app. Contact info. Phone, 509-4738 to 5663, Moncash/Prism Transfer. Email, delandes78@gmail.com. Website, https://globalinternetctp-abh7v6tnmskxxnplardcgk.streamlit.app. GlobalInternet.py, connecting the global market with our expertise. If you need professional translation services for any language, contact us today.